This episode of From Tops to Bottoms contains strong language, content of a sexual nature, and stuff that will probably offend your nan. Hello guys, gals and non-binary pals, and welcome to this week's episode of Aftercare. My name's Sam.
And my name is Cassie.
And this week we are talking all about our previous episode, Women on Wanking.
We actually took a week break, so this Aftercare episode is a little late, but I started work again after lockdown. Sam had a busy week, and we just didn't want to rush things, and we had, in a very short space of time, an Aftercare episode and a full episode to record and edit and promo, and we were like, do you know what? We make the rules here, baby. So
yeah, I'd rather not half-arse it. I'd rather make sure it's done properly. And that did involve, and it will involve maybe every now and again a week's break because we live in different time zones. Yeah. We both have quite demanding jobs and we make the rules.
Yeah. I'd rather put out content that like we're happy with than just putting it out just because we want to meet a deadline, which is also like a deadline we've set for ourselves. Which means we can fucking move the deadline ourselves. Self-care, baby.
Yeah, like I did get a couple of messages literally like an hour after the episode was due out, like, hey, where is it?
I love that.
So, sorry to disappoint. It's good to know that we have people that love to listen.
Yeah, that's so nice. So, yeah. I didn't expect that. I got a couple of messages like, what time's out today? And I'm like, oh, Gailey, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so that is really nice. But also sometimes it's just not possible. But we're going to do our best. We are obviously putting all the love and care we can into this, which is why we want it to be fucking good and not half-arsed and shit.
Yeah, we do like take time to plan our episodes and what we're going to say, and it's never just like record an episode on a whim. I mean, maybe we will one day, but so far the topics have been pretty heavy and we have like specific things we want to say, so we didn't want to just like wake up and in the 2-hour slot that we've got to record, just boom record, because it just wouldn't turn out well. So yeah, a week break is what we needed.
Yeah, it's not just a case of we show up and chat shit, even though it may sound like it. Some actual planning goes into each episode.
Yeah.
So yeah. So how are you, Cass? I believe there's been some major changes in your life that is not centred around Liverpool winning the Premier League.
Well, Liverpool did win the Premier League, if anybody wants to know.
Yes, they did do a win, yes. Do you remember that time? I'm so sorry to just go off tangent, but do you remember that time you were trying to explain football to me and you were like, I'll keep it basic for you. Liverpool, we want win. City, we want lose. And I was like, thank you, Cassie, for helping me learn something so complicated. I really do appreciate that.
to be fair, it was a bit more complicated than that. Liverpool weren't playing City. City were playing another match with someone else, and we were playing a match with someone else, but we wanted to win this one and them to lose the other one. So I explained it, or whatever, but I explained it for a while, and then Sam just looked at me like, what are you saying? And I was like, basically, they're going to lose, we're going to win, and then I will be happy. And you're like, hey, anyway, woo, sports fan.
So anyway, Cass, please tell the wonderful listeners what the fuck is going on in your life, because I already know, but I would love you to tell them.
I don't know, mate. I don't know what is going on in my life.
I mean, other than you have a brand new beautiful girlfriend, I don't really know, Cass.
Yes, correct. I do have a girlfriend now. I am in a relationship.
And she is fucking lovely. And I know she'll be listening to this, so hey babe, what's up?
She is literally the most beautiful woman I've ever met in my life. But anyway.
Rude. First of all, rude.
Second of all, gay.
So yeah, Christ. I'm very, very happy for you. And
she's absolutely obsessed with Sam too.
Love that for me.
Great. But yes, I am in a relationship. What's new with you?
Well, I don't have anything as truly exciting as that. I'm back at work now, so I'm working long days. And
oh, hello.
Yeah, so I'm just back at work and getting absolutely smashed. So, I mean, it was nice when I could have like long days where I had nothing to do other than edit the podcast. But now I have to actually do my job and teach children, and I've forgotten what that's like. So, and it turns out children love to run around and scream at me. So that takes a lot of hard work.
I am so glad I don't work with children anymore. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, man. Fucking hell.
So, now that we have done a catch-up, I say catch-up, me and Sam speak every single day without fail.
Literally.
But now that we've done a podcast catch-up, how do you feel about last week's episode?
I feel a lot better than I thought I would. As we both mentioned, we were very nervous to put that episode out. And I was worried about a couple of things. Mainly, my main worries were talking about masturbating as children and talking about the way an ex-partner talked about masturbating to me.
Yeah.
And generally both were received pretty well.
Yeah.
I had a lot of positive feedback and everyone was very reassuring and very comforting, and I like that a lot. I like that people are listening and it is helping people and that people can relate as well, which is really great.
Yeah.
How do you feel? Because I know you were really nervous to put it out as well.
Oh, yeah. This is the one I was real nervous about. I was nervous for the nudes episode because we were using a nude to promo it, but that went fine. Love tits. But this one...
Who doesn't?
Right. This one, it was just... I've got a lot of shame from, like, my childhood surrounding that. I think that's why I do what I do today. But it was still, like, really nerve-wracking, and, like, I know that Sam's comfortable with me saying this. We both had a little cry after filming the episode, and potentially for different reasons, some for the same reasons. But I felt drained as fuck. I felt really, really drained, and I was bricking it. I didn't want to listen to the final cut. Sam was the one that edited it, and Sam texted me and said, I am not having a fun time editing this.
Oh, no. That was the only one that I did not thoroughly enjoy editing. Like, I love listening back to everything, and it normally makes me laugh every single time. Yeah. But I really hated listening to it. When I listened back to the finished cut, it wasn't as bad as I remembered editing it. And I think we both kind of felt that as we were listening to the final episode. We're like, maybe it's not going to be so bad. But as soon as I put it out, like, that was... I had that dread in the pit of my stomach.
I think mine went after I listened to the final cut. I'd built it up in my head that I was going to be going, like, in depth into my childhood. I don't even think that I went into as much detail as I'd have liked to because I was so nervous. So, but I'm sure we'll be having many conversations about it or similar topics anyway. But when I listened to it, it just wasn't as bad as I thought, and I enjoyed listening to the episode, to be honest. I don't know about you, but it brought up so many conversations about masturbation, like face to face as well.
Oh, yeah.
I was speaking to someone I'm very close with in the pub, and she brought it up, and it was so nice because I'm so close to the scale, and without, like, giving away too much detail, obviously privacy, we were in similar situations, I guess, and I said I didn't even go into full detail about how I used to masturbate as a kid, and she was like, okay, why? And I said I was just so nervous. Because any, like, book I've read or, like, podcast I've listened to, no one's ever mentioned that specific way before, like, not specific, but, like, detailed. And she was like, okay, tell me, we could have the same one, because I'm in the same boat, like, no one has. So I told her, I say, like, I'd get, like, a t-shirt or something and, like, roll it up in a ball or, like, something, and then, like, put that, like, by my, like, clit or somewhere near, I guess, and then, like, rub up against the bed. And she literally stood up out of her seat and was like, fucking same. And it was so strange that, like, someone so close to me and was so close to, like, my life did it in the same way. And we both experienced the same sort of shame. It was a lot. And, like, I went to the bathroom and I had a moment and was like, wow, I love women. Like, I hate what happens to women and the fact that we're all so silenced about all this. But then I love the fact that, like, we've both just had that moment that's like, fuck. You know what I mean? It was so lovely. But it was so nice to just have that conversation, like, in a pub. And, like, all of my conversations since this podcast have started have been, when I say my kind of conversations, stuff I love talking about. Like, we had a surprise party for my friend Ben the other day, and we ended up just sitting talking about, like, stuff I've posted on Radical Love, like trans issues or, like, racism and, like, stuff like that. And I think it's mad, but to be sitting and having a conversation in a place of work, like a pub, talking about women wanking, I was just like, I fucking love this podcast. And I think, like, from here on out, I'm just not going to be nervous about episodes. There's one that, you know, I'm nervous about. Yeah. But other than that, like, it's clearly working and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think we both need to stop being so fucking nervous about putting things out, because obviously we're all like, oh, what if this is poorly received? What if this is the one that's poorly received? And literally, we've been surprised every time. I know we've only put out like 3-4 episodes, but each time we've been like real surprised about it. But it's been the same for me. It's opened a lot of conversations that I didn't realise that people needed to have. Yeah. Like, a lot of people from high school that I used to be friends with, and still am quite close to, got in touch and they listened to the podcast and they opened up, particularly about the biphobia and the masturbation episode. Oh, yeah. And they, one of them in particular, mentioned when we touched on the shame issue in the masturbation episode, and they said that they get these horrible feelings of shame, so much so that they realise that they're about to get that feeling and it completely throws them off, like during sex or before they're about to orgasm. And like I had a bit of a look into it, and it turns out it could, you know, things like that. There's a thing called postcoital dysphoria, and obviously I am by no means a doctor or a psychologist or a psychiatrist or anything, but like, these are things that people are experiencing, and it is fairly common, and no one talks about it because of that shame that they feel as a result of this condition. So yeah, that was nice, and it was really nice. The one big piece of feedback I've had is that it's just made them comfortable to talk about it, which I think is great. Like, that's the best feedback I could get from anything.
I think that it's important though, like with like postcoital dysphoria, that like it's not always that, like even if you don't,
absolutely not.
Even if you don't have that, you can still experience shame and like guilt. There's a few other things said about that which we'll discuss in a minute when we go through the Instagram results. But yeah, it's so natural to feel shame after stuff like that, because you must be rock solid to not, after like internalising years of shame and being told that like this is disgusting, like fucking you're rock solid if you haven't experienced that one thing in your life. Anyway, we posted some, I feel like me and Sam will literally talk forever, so we best get onto the Instagram results. We wanted to hear back from you guys just a little bit more than we usually do. We normally get quite a lot of messages, but we wanted like specific answers this week, didn't we?
Yes. I was quite happy with the amount of engagement we had with this one as well, because we did get quite a few responses to the polls.
Yeah. So,
okay,
let's go on to the first question. Okay, so the first question was, do you masturbate?
So 94% of people said yes, and obviously 6% of people said no. Personally, I think you're lying.
I mean, to be honest, I think that was what I was expecting. I think there's so many reasons for people not masturbating. You know, you could just not experience sexual pleasure. You may be like me and you at some point where we didn't really masturbate properly. Maybe you'll have that awakening one day.
Jokes aside, I don't think you lied. Jokes aside.
maybe you'll have the Cassie style life changing orgasm. I hope you do. But
everyone needs one of those.
But yeah, 94%, and I can tell you that most people that filled in this are women. So that tells you there's a very small percentage of men. So that tells you, like, literally almost all women do masturbate. And, like, how are we not talking about something most of us do? What the fuck? Could you imagine we all drank cups of tea, but shh. Do you know what I mean? It's fucking bizarre, isn't it? Anyway, next question was, if yes... Ooh, I've got a lot to say about this. If yes, do you openly admit to masturbating, or is it just an unspoken topic?
Now, 90% of people that replied to this said that it was open, and 10% said it was hidden.
I know Sam's just joked about the other one saying, I think you're lying. That was a joke. I think you're lying. I think that, not even that you're lying, I think that you don't understand just what I mean when I say, or when we say openly. Like, I don't think that 90% of these people do speak about it openly. I'm very open about it, but I would still say it's pretty unspoken, like, across the board for me. I'll speak to you about it. I'll speak to mates about it. I probably wouldn't even speak to my girlfriend about it properly. That's how, like, unspoken it is.
Well, put it this way. If people were as open as they're claiming to be, we wouldn't be so nervous putting out an episode about masturbating.
Exactly.
I don't think.
It goes back to what I said on the actual episode. Men feel shame around wanking because it's a private thing to do. Women feel shame about wanking because it's a shameful, disgusting thing to do. The actual, not that it's a private thing, you should do it in your private time, which is fair play, but because it's disgusting, we shouldn't be doing it. For these 90% of people, are you telling me that when you just turn up late to somewhere, you would say, oh, sorry, I just cracked one out before I came here? Or are you telling me that you'd sit around the table at the pub and say, oh, mate, yeah, seen this and I just had a wank? Would you do that? I've been sat in the pub many times with men and I had long conversations about masturbation. I'm friends with pretty sex-positive men, and so they're never really, like, vulgar conversations. But that there has been. That I've been around some, like, disgusting men where they've been like, oh, yeah, I had to have a wank over a Facebook profile picture. I've been around those conversations. Are you telling me that you would be that open? And would you discuss it like that? Not that we wank over people's Facebook pictures, fucking hell.
The bar is low for me, but it's not that low.
That's good. So yeah, I don't know if I'm not calling you 90% out, but actually a few men said open. Let's say, yeah, a few men did say open. Good for you. What's that like? I feel like people are saying open because they want it to be open. You think it's open because you're comfortable within it yourself, but are you comfortable enough to chat about it and admit it? I'm talking in terms of next to men, you know what I mean? Because I spoke to a friend about it and he was like, I've never heard women talk about it unless I brought it up. But I've heard about, like, the boys talking about it several times and I'm like, yes, my guy, because we cannot talk about it. So yeah, I might do this poll again after this episode is released and be like, bitches, tell the truth. Watch everyone be like, no, yeah, we are open. Okay, next question. Do you use toys whilst masturbating?
65% of people said yeah, and 35% of people said no toys. And honestly, you 35% of people, you'll need to catch up because you could be having I'm not saying you're not having a bad time now, but you could be having an even better time, mate.
I don't know, I'm jealous of them. Like, you're thinking, like, catch the fuck up. I'm thinking, teach me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think that I just use my fingers.
I don't know about you, but my hands get tired.
Yeah, same. Like, I'd be getting cramp without a doubt, my guy. But I don't even think that I could, like, finish. I don't know, I might give that a try later. Can we just pause recording a sec? I'm joking. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's impressive, to be honest with you. Good for you guys. Also, it would help me a lot with a noise situation. We did speak about noise, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because your hands don't go bzzz at 3 a.m.
Yeah, true. A vibrator might get you there real quick, but a hand does not give away the game.
Exactly. She's a secret bitch. Okay, so the next question was, do you watch porn whilst masturbating?
79% of people said yes, and 21% of people said no.
Again, the 21%, like, teach me. I definitely could. But, like, I mean, like, if all of a sudden porn was to disappear, I'd be like,
shit.
yeah, I'm gonna get a bit of trouble here. I think it's because I get distracted so easily, so I could be thinking about like this like boss bed on top of me, and then the next thing I'll be like, what am I having for dinner tonight? You know what I mean?
Literally, I was going to say exactly the same. I'm quite visual because I need something to take my attention.
Yeah, same.
And obviously, if I don't have someone there interacting with me, my mind tends to wander. And sometimes it does that while I'm watching porn as well, and I completely lose it.
Oh, yeah, sure.
If my brain just grabs this thought that's particularly like, hey, remember how you're a garbage human being? I'm like, well, now I can't come.
And on your phone, they're like, come for me, baby. And you're like, I'm trying, bitch. Oh, I actually had a conversation. That's funny, actually, the porn thing. I had a conversation with two people in the pub, again, about porn. And one of them, we all like joked about like the I don't know. It just turned out we all watch the same kind of porn, and we were all like quoting like videos, and it just made me laugh so much. And then like we were all like joking around, but then like I like did take something from it and was like, "Isn't it funny that was a bit of a sort of like a taboo sort of porn?" And then we all just sort of quoted the same thing and then laughed forever. Like, oh,
what was it?
It was my stepsister fucks me.
I think the most quotable one for me, there's two that stand out for me. Not particularly taboo. I can't literally even remember most of the porn. But do you remember that James Dean one with that clip went round on Twitter for ages about the lemon tree? Like, look at all our lemons.
Oh my God,
lemon
yeah.
Tree.
Ooh, he's been brushed aside now, James Dean. Ooh.
Yes, we don't talk about him anymore.
Yeah,
and also the other one was I think it was maybe the pizza delivery guy or something, and he opened the box and he's got his dick in the pizza.
Oh my
like,
God.
Oh my God. And the whole family is like, oh my God.
Sam, what porn do you watch?
No. This wasn't one that I watched. This is a clip that went round on Twitter again ages ago. These are what I remember them from.
Oh, funny. Oh, but yeah.
Anyway.
I do think porn's also something that should be spoken about more, but, you know, one step at a time, eh? So, ooh. Next question was, if in a relationship, do you still masturbate?
Oh, I don't have the answer to that one. I don't have
I don't know, Jeff.
Let me go to Instagram. Oh, I don't know, Jeff. There's been a goal. That's that.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, okay, anyway. Oh, I'm literally so sidetracked now. Oh, yeah, the question. So I'll get the answer. Okay. There's been a red card, but for who? Chris Kamara. Oh, hilarious. Yeah, so the answer was yes, 93% yes, 7% for no, for do you still wank if you're in a relationship.
I'd love to know why these 7% of people say no, but also I know that I might have been in that 7% a couple of years ago. So
I mean, they could just be sexually satisfied in their relationship. Or, I mean, I'm hoping.
Oh, I really hope that's the case.
Yeah, I hope that's it. Like, the big O for all. But at the same time, I'm not convinced. To be honest. Yeah, I would feel like... Sorry, I'm just looking if it's men or women that have said yes or no. If
I remember correctly...
It's all women that said no. Yeah, all women that have said no. And again, I do hope it's because you're sexually satisfied in your relationship.
I would love that for y'all.
Yeah. Okay. Did this week's episode relieve any shame you had about masturbating?
79% of people said yes, and 21% of people said not really.
Not really.
Which, I mean, all right, fair enough. We tried.
79% is a good number for me.
Yeah,
I'm very happy with that. Yeah, I'm very happy with 79%. But that's also interesting because did it relieve any shame? But then, like 93% or whatever the number was, said that they already spoke about it openly. See, this is where I'm thinking that the question was misunderstood, maybe. Who knows?
Rather than y'all are lying.
Okay. Ooh, here's a fun one. What do you call masturbating? For example, wanking. There are some good ones here. First of all, Sam, have you got the list in front of you, Sam?
I have.
Stunning. You pick your favourite one and I'm going to pick my favourite one. So don't say it yet.
I have 2 favourites. Is that okay?
Nope. You greedy bisexual. Wow, I thought you'd laugh and you looked at me like I'd shot your ma. Girl, I too am a greedy bisexual. It's okay. We can be living stereotypes together.
So, I picked one. Fine, God. Mine was not so much a favourite, but the one I thought was most interesting, which was Lady Wank.
Right. That's my least favourite.
Well, it's not my favourite, but like I say, it was the one I thought was most interesting. Because why would you not just call it a wank?
Like I said, I literally said that. I literally said, didn't I?
Yeah.
There's masturbation and then there's female masturbation. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that one. I feel like, why is it a lady wank? However, you call it what you want to call it, my gal.
There's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, there is a lot. My favourite was going for a vibe, because I call my vibrator a vibe. And I just love, I'm just going to go for a vibe. I love that. Good vibes only is a whole new meaning. Posy vibes only. Strong vibes only for me.
You know, we really do be vibing.
I love that. Oh, I'm all about them vibes, you know. Ugh, me. Okay, so we also had, I'm just going to read them out. Wanking, masturbating, going for a vibe, masturbation, wanking, masturbating, wanking, playing, wanking / getting myself off, wanking, lady wank, and then wank, and then finally, last but certainly not least, flick the bean. Now, I know this lady who said this, and when I see her, I'm going to ask her what the fuck she called it that for. Just going to go flick the bean. Oh, Lord. Yeah, you call it what you want. Flick the bean it's an interesting one, truly. I did like playing, and I was like, Sam will like playing too, just because playing is like a BDSM phrase for sex, like play. We don't use like having sex when it comes to the steps of BDSM. We say like play, because BDSM doesn't just consist of having sex, or what even. We'll get into that another time, but
oh yeah,
the definition of sex is very loose. So yeah, the word play is used. So I like that, playing, but also I don't think I'd ever be like, I'm going to go for a play, because it on the other end of that, I don't like it because it's like, I'm going to go for a play. It's very girly and very, you know.
I get what you mean. It sounds quite innocent.
Yeah, she's playing with herself. I'm not. I'm having a vicious wank.
The things I am doing to myself are not kind.
There was no playing going on here. Ooh. Oh, funny.
Fucking hell.
But yeah. Yeah, so mine was, I liked getting myself off. That sound. Everyone seems to like the word wank, so maybe it's just me that had an issue with the word wank. I mean, I no longer do. We did unpack that. Thank you, Sam. But
You welcome.
I did like getting myself off. Going for a vibe really has stole the show. The person that said going for a vibe is constantly full of good comments in this podcast, I have to say. She really is a top fan, as Facebook would call it.
We appreciate
yes,
you.
we love you. The next question was, any questions for Cassie and Sam to answer? Thoughts on the episode? Things we missed out about the topic? So basically just any comments and questions. One, excited to sit and work and listen to your wanking podcast tomorrow. I love that people are sitting in their place of work listening to me and you talk about wanking. Honestly, that gets me off.
Love that. Now that truly is a vibe.
So Sam doesn't have the responses in front of her, so I'm just going to have the pleasure to read all of these out, which I love.
Excellent.
I'm going to start with my favourite. She said, oh no. So we said last week, didn't we, that me and Sam made up the phrase clit hanger.
Oh God, I know exactly what you're going to say now. I've just remembered. It's all come flooding back to me.
Yep. Clit hanger. So like, she left me on a bit of a clit hanger. Went on a Tinder date the other day. We had sex, but yeah, he left me on a bit of a clit hanger, meaning like I didn't finish. And this person said, I like clit hangers better than blue labes.
Ugh.
Blue labes. Now,
who on earth says that the female equivalent of blue balls is blue labes? Like, I get it. I do get it, because that is the most literal equivalent. But
God.
Fucking hell.
That kept me up at night for a few nights, I have to say. Blue labes. Flashbacks to being in school when blue waffle was a thing.
Oh, don't say it. Oh, I don't say it, man.
No, honestly, we're going to stick with clit hanger. Thank you so much for your comment. We really appreciate you taking the time to listen and to comment. However, blue labes will never be a thing. Stop trying to make blue labes a thing.
Stop trying to make blue labes happen. It's not going to happen.
The next one was 100% relieved shame I had, especially when Cassie said about feeling horrible afterwards. I get that all the time. Yeah, I think I mentioned about sometimes feeling a bit like, ugh, after I've like watched porn or something, where you just feel a bit dirty, or you're just a bit like a bit of a drop. And Sam mentioned before, like the post-coital dysphoria. Look into it, read into that. Like, maybe try and unpack why you feel like that. It might not be post-coital dysphoria, because that's, when I say a big thing, but like most people feel to some extent feel some shame. So look into it, have a little read. But yeah, some people honestly, like, it's a joke that people cry after sex, but like it shouldn't really be a thing, because that shit happens, and like sex can do mad shit to you. Pleasure can do mad shit to you.
One time I came so hard I literally cried, so I can't relate.
Wow. Were you on your own?
Yeah. No, I wasn't.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I didn't even come, but me and my partner had just argued, and then we'd had sex afterwards, and it was so boss that I was like, oh, I'm gonna cry. And it was because it was a lot of emotion. We just argued for so long. He'd said some pretty horrible things to me, and then like gone from being like spoken to like shit to then like fucking and having such a good time. I was just really emotional afterwards. But I've never like came and then cried. I've came and been like, whoa. But never had a sob. I wish. But yeah, look into it, read into it. It's a thing.
So that's all for the responses we had on Instagram. Thank you so much for replying to all of our polls. We did have a lot of private messages as well, that were quite interesting, particularly related to talking about masturbating as children.
Yeah, I had one message which was really nice from a good friend of mine. Not really nice, sorry. It was nice to have that conversation. We had a lovely chat about it, but then she also said, I don't know, like, I just feel weird talking about and hearing other people's stories about, like, pleasure as a child, like, wanking as a child. And, like, at first, I read the text and was a bit like, right. And then literally took me about 3 seconds to be like, well, that's just I get it. Like, I get it. That's just an issue with sexualising children. I'm not saying that she was sexualising a child by any means. She was fucking not. The point was the opposite for her. She didn't want to be... She thought it was wrong to be sexualising children in that way. But I think it's important to realise that it's not sexualising children. Pleasure doesn't always have to be, like, a sexual thing. I know that sounds so, like, absurd to say, but it doesn't. Like, we were all children once.
And I mean, like, the thing is, we all, generally speaking, discover our sexuality as puberty begins, and you are a child as puberty begins, and there's no shame in that. And I mean, going back to what you're saying about pleasure not all being sexual, like, not even talking as children, like, BDSM, as an example, brings a lot of pleasure to people, and that, strictly speaking, is not always sexual.
No. Yeah, that's such a shout. Like, I was trying to explain this to somebody the other day. Like, shibari it's sometimes just something you do. Like, it's not actually a sexual thing. Like, when we talk about, you know, me rubbing up against the bed of the child, it's not like, no one said it was sexy. No one was saying, oh my God, how great is this? It was just a journey we went on to get where we are. I think it's a totally valid concern for someone to have, especially when women, it's like women more than men and others are sexualized all the time. So I think it's so valid for it to be like, let's not sexualize children. But, like, I think that's because we're all constantly in the mindset of, like, it being a sexual thing. Do you know what? I don't think I've worded that correctly, but
I get what you mean, though, because rightfully so, everyone wants to defend a child's innocence.
Yes.
So I totally do get that. However, at no point are we saying this was anything sexy.
You can still be an innocent child.
Literally, as you said.
You can still be an innocent child while trying to figure out who you are and what you're doing.
Yes.
But yeah, I thought that was such a great thing for her to bring up, actually. She's very intelligent, this girl, so it was nice to have that sort of comment, because normally all the other comments we're talking about, like, our experiences, but I didn't expect to hear from anyone that, like, hearing about other people's made her uncomfortable. I mean, it's uncomfortable to the point of, like, let me actually get my text up because we both worded it pretty well. Give me a second. Okay. So I said that I think it's to do with, like, sexualising young kids, but it's a natural thing. However, I do understand the link. It's also a very vulnerable time that their child puts themselves in unknowingly. So the child has no idea that what they're doing is, you know, a private thing, or could be one day viewed as, like, a sexual thing. So it is sort of like, oh, this innocent child has put themselves in that situation unknowingly. However, like, this is what I then continued with, but, like, talking about it does help relieve shame, even if it is a private thing, because it's not as private and disgusting as it's been made out to be. Yes, it's private, but it's not private and shameful. Like, they're two different things.
It does also go to show that the shame is learned.
Yes. They replied with, if people were more open and spoke to kids about it, then it wouldn't feel as weird. Which I think she's totally right. Like, if we spoke about it from a young age, kids wouldn't feel so strange about it. Adults wouldn't feel so strange about it. But yeah, I thought that was it was a different comment that I thought we'd receive, and probably my favourite one, just because it opened, like, such a good conversation. But yeah.
Well, my favourite comment was in regards to, again, how we wanked as children, was a text message that I woke up to from my sister, who said, Sam, I hope that was your hairbrush that you used. And not one of the communal ones.
Communal hairbrush. Wow.
I've done a lot of fucked up things in my time, but I've never wanked with the communal hairbrush.
Oh, that's literally the funniest thing ever.
So to answer your question, yes, it was my own hairbrush. Thank you.
And I fucking enjoyed it. Oh, that's so funny. Well, I think
this episode of Aftercare has been a lot longer than it normally would be. Because I think this topic is one that you and I enjoy talking about a lot.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to talk about. We had a lot of responses, and there's still, I could talk about this for hours.
Yeah, I feel like we will probably do another episode on it at some point.
Thank you for all your patience for this week's Aftercare episode. And make sure you follow us on the From Tops to Bottoms Instagram for any updates. And you can follow us on our Twitter account, which is @Tops to Bottoms.
My personal Twitter is @CassRatTray, and my personal Instagram is @radicallove.co.uk. That is the same for my website.
My personal Instagram is @SamanthaNBJ, which is the same as my Twitter handle. And if you do want to contact us via email, you can contact us at hello tops to bottoms @gmail.com.
Yeah. Stunning.
One day we'll fucking learn it. All right, so until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.